Welcome to my channel, Life with Everyday Haley. If you are new here, hi, I'm super glad to have you as a friend. Hope that my videos and channel find you well and help you on your journey. If you are new, you are probably figuring out that I have been on a fertility journey battle for the last couple years, and I have struggled with recurrent pregnancy loss. But I'm happy to say in this video that I am pregnant, and I have had a unique pregnancy this time around. I have a full protocol with my reproductive immunologist. I am under a reproductive immunologist care. I was also under the care of a fertility clinic and a reproductive endocrinologist. So definitely a different pregnancy this time around. And I believe that I've finally gotten the help and care that my body needed to be successful. I am praying for that. If you are returning, super glad to have you, friends. Hope this video is a new education for you. Before we get started in today's video about my experience with a subchorionic hemorrhage in my first trimester, I want to remind you to like and subscribe to my channel. Would love for you to follow along with me. And don't forget to follow me on my socials. On TikTok, I share a lot of informative videos about pregnancy, loss, and just learning, and hopefully motherhood. On my LTK, I share my outfit finds. I share my protocol, vitamins and different things I'm on to help me through pregnancy, and baby items that I'm finding and buying. So a lot of fun over there. All right, so as we get started in today's video, this video is about how I developed a subchorionic hemorrhage in my first trimester. I had not had one of these in either of my pregnancies, my first pregnancy or my second pregnancy. So you may be wondering, what is a subchorionic hemorrhage? So a subchorionic hemorrhage is a small bleed that develops as your baby is growing, as everything is connecting with the blood vessels and development in your uterus. A small bleed that can pop up almost like a little paper cut in a way, between your placenta and your uterine lining. That's how I understand it. They are extremely common. I'll start off by saying that. They are extremely common. They can be in up to 40% of pregnancies. They can pop up at random times of your pregnancy. Mainly they show up in the first trimester, and they usually go away before your first trimester is over. In some cases, some women can develop them in their second trimester, but that's less common. And you can sometimes develop more than one at the same time, or you can develop one, it can go away, you can develop another one. They're almost just like a little wound that needs to heal. So what causes them? We don't know. There's a lot of theories about what causes a subchorionic hemorrhage. My OB said we just don't know, but they're very common. He told me that if he scanned 100 women, 50 of them might have one. The only reason they become a threat is when they are so large that they are as big as your gestational sac. If they grow too big, then they can interfere with the baby's development, blood flow, and things like that. Thankfully, in most cases, that does not happen. So I'll share this story about how I found out I had one, and then we'll go from there. So around 5 weeks of pregnancy, I had a lot of cramping. I actually had a lot of cramping in the first few weeks of my pregnancy. I don't know if that was related to the subchorionic hemorrhage, but in every pregnancy that I've had, cramping is a symptom for me. And around 5 weeks, I was just having a lot of cramping one day, and I felt like it was a little off. I went to the restroom, and I had a little bit of pink spotting on the toilet paper, which, as a mama that's had 2 pregnancy losses in the first trimester, this sent me into a spiral. I was like, you can't be serious. I was freaking out. So I talked to my husband. He's like, don't panic. Everything was really good on the ultrasound a few days ago. Your hormones look good. Your blood work looks good. Because, I'm getting all this care weekly with my reproductive immunologist. And he's like, let's not panic. Your ultrasound's on Monday. This is a Saturday. Let's just watch it. So I watched it, and the spotting never came back. It was just one time. I was really scared. So we went to the ultrasound, and I told the doctor, the RE was at my fertility clinic. I said, I had some spotting and I've been cramping. and I'm nervous. And she's like, let's look it up. Like, let's look at the baby. Let's not panic. And immediately the baby had a really strong flutter heartbeat. It was still 5.5 weeks, so it wasn't very big, but a flutter heartbeat. The baby was measuring 6 weeks and 2 days at that one, so a little bit ahead. I was actually 5 weeks and 6 days at that ultrasound, but the baby was measuring a little bit ahead, which is good. So there was a heartbeat, and she said, your baby's healthy. It looks great, but I'll tell you why you're spotting. She said, you have a small subchorionic hemorrhage, and she showed it to me, and it was under my gestational sac at the bottom. And she said, because of the position of it, that's probably why you've had some spotting. I was like, okay. She's like, you may have spotting with this. I don't want you to panic. It's because of the subchorionic hemorrhage. She said, there's nothing you can do to fix it. It just happens. She's like, yours is very small. It's about 1.5 centimeters. We will watch it, and we will watch it each week, and that's all we can do. She's like, just if you want to just take it easy, take it easy. You don't have any restrictions. So what did I do from that moment on? I panicked, of course. I'm going to panic. Actually, developing a subchorionic hemorrhage early in your pregnancy like that is actually very dangerous. So she didn't really want to scare me, but the earlier you develop them, the more scary it is, because your gestational sac is so small at that point. There's a risk of miscarriage, I'm not going to lie. But I just had faith and just tried to pray about it. What I did, I went home, I joined the Subchorionic Hemorrhage Facebook group. There's a chat for people that are on it. I did some research. I've looked up some things that you can do. I learned about a vitamin called ALA, which you can take for having a subchorionic hemorrhage. Not all doctors recommend this, but as I like to say, you can make your decisions for yourself and your body. You can get that on Amazon. You can take that twice a day. I started taking that twice a day. I started drinking orange juice every day. I went on pelvic rest. I tried to lay down as much as possible in the bed. However, I was also exhausted and sick in my first trimester, so that wasn't too hard. And I stopped lifting anything heavy. So I just put myself on a very limited, I stopped walking, didn't exercise anymore, just completely tried to minimize. A couple things I think may have made me more prone to developing this. I am on a blood thinner in pregnancy due to having recurrent pregnancy loss issues in the past and needing a blood thinner protocol. That can cause a subchorionic hemorrhage to develop. I have something called antiphospholipid antibody syndrome that tests positive in my pregnancy. And that can also cause these to show up. So there's just, there's a lot of things that make me feel like that's why I developed them, but also you can just develop them for no reason at all. My reproductive immunologist kind of feels like they are immune related, and it might be your immune system trying to act up, but I'm on a full immune protocol, and I don't really know if I believe that. It's kind of up in the air about what causes them. And who knows, they could be caused for different reasons for different people. I did also read that if you have a history of miscarriage, you might be more prone to these. Or if you've had multiple deliveries or pregnancies. You know, I feel like that's everybody. Honestly, that would be everybody. So who knows? But what we did was we just tracked it every week. And it's interesting because it hung around actually until I was 11.5 weeks. And it went away at that time, like it resolved. But, and they said it would resolve because as your gestational sac grows, it kind of just pushes out the bleeding. I had a couple rounds of spotting throughout these few weeks that it stayed around, but actually cramping didn't really stay around and I didn't have much spotting. So that made me feel better. Basically what it did was it would like go up and down. Like one time it went up to 2.5 centimeters. That was the highest it's ever gone up. And then it would just go back down to 1. And then eventually it just kind of went away. So we're under the impression for the last 2 weeks that it's just kind of gone. I am now 13.5 weeks, and we're just praying that it's still gone. But it was gone last week. So I guess I'm the typical first trimester SCH case. But they're very scary, especially if you've had a history of losses. And then you get told, hey, there's something else that could be threatening your pregnancy. I mean, that is, you can't prepare for that and you really don't know how to help it. So basically my OB was like, well, watch it and That's it. And he really wasn't that concerned about it. So that made me less concerned about it. All right, so that is my experience with a subchorionic hemorrhage. Again, I had a very mild case of one, and it did resolve on its own. Worst case scenarios of these could be where it gets huge. Women oftentimes start bleeding a lot. It's very traumatic, and it can cause major issues with miscarriage and the baby's development. But that is worst case scenario, and everyone prays for that not to happen. And I think that is the minority of situations with subchronic hemorrhage. I think in most cases, even if it gets pretty big, you can be put on bed rest. And in most cases, you know, you can get through it. So it's an unfortunate part of pregnancy, but it is a part of pregnancy. And it's something that we should know about. It's something that we should educate ourselves about, that it could happen in pregnancy. It's just one of those things, like it's like gestational diabetes or preeclampsia. If you don't know about it, you're not prepared to deal with it. So it just happens. But yeah, let me know if you've had a subchorionic hemorrhage or if you have any questions about it. But that was my experience with one. I'm praying that I don't develop any more and that they are gone. But if you have one, just don't panic, because in most cases you're going to be okay. All right. Thank you so much for tuning into this video about my experience with a subchorionic hemorrhage. Not like I needed that after everything I've been through in my first trimester. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe this video on my channel, and stick around for some more updates about my pregnancy to come. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a blessed day. Bye.